Ooh, might make your head blow off.
Hey, yo, it's a talk show host, Kaynah Lassiter. Join me for an episode of Relations, the most lit hour of adult conversation.
Hold up, you know you can't forget about me. It's 51 Spade, alpha male God, one half of Relations. You wanna hear the truth? Can you handle the truth? It's where it's at, baby. It's where it's at, baby.
What's good? Welcome to an all-new episode of Relations. My name is Kaynah Lassiter.
Say it with me now. Alpha male God, 51 Spade, a.k.a. the ninja you love to hate. I'm in the building.
You know what it is. We got two exciting topics in 1 hour, and they're really simple. Baggage and body counts. That's where we're going today. So, you know what? Both of these are like one of those topics that we could probably talk forever on. So it's kind of like, which one do we want to start out first with? Baggage or body count? I'll pick the more serious subject because it is quite serious when you're talking about baggage. I posted a question on the Relations discussions page, and I started off just saying, actually all this week I've been talking about baggage because it's something, one, that I don't think that people talk about when they're just dating. Like, those are things that are discovered. Like, you meet on social media, you have dinner, you don't know whether this person has really an addictive personality yet. You don't know any of the things they come with. A mean baby daddy. All those things you learn
3
over.
baby daddies.
Right. These are the things that you learn about a person, like, over time while you're dating. It's not something that you're able to, one, ask about on the first date sometimes.
You can.
But you can. So I won't take that away from the person sitting across the table, but I will be the person sitting on the other end, and I will say that it's not something to just come out with.
But you a woman, though.
So this week I posed the question. Why don't we care about baggage? And then I listed my own.
Oh, you said why you don't care about baggage?
No, the first question on social media was, why don't we discuss baggage?
Oh, okay.
You get the Carfax on your car, right? That's what I posted.
So
that was the whole post.
So I want the whole facts.
Well, whole facts, baggage, whatever it's called. Like, most people aren't going to get a car without saying, hey, has the car been in an accident before? Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? What's been going on with the car? No one's going to do that. So I'm trying to figure out why they don't feel like it's an important part of the conversation when you're talking about dating somebody. So that was the first one. And it didn't get all the attention I thought it would get. So I said, you know what? I just need to list my own baggage. If I list my baggage, then maybe it will encourage the next person on the comment to list theirs. And that's what started happening. Women in particular came on the post and they 1, 2, 3, 4. I got this, I got that, I got this, I got that. And I said, this is really refreshing because earlier this year, we were downing a particular podcaster for telling women they had baggage, had too much baggage, and that baggage might keep them from getting a high value man. And he's being attacked. But all of those things that he said about these women were true because he asked them, hey, do you have kids? Yes. Did you graduate from college? No. Where do you work? How much do you have? How much money do you make a year? He's asking all this stuff. They're answering it. And he's telling them you have baggage that will not attract the high value man. He got attacked for it. So I said, you know what? Let's take it off the man. Why don't we, because we look at ourselves in the mirror every day. We know what our shortcomings are. Stop fucking pretending. What is the shit that's bad about you? I'm lonely. There are no good men out there. I can't find a good guy. Blah, blah, blah. What is it about you that is attracting this person? It is time for you to self-evaluate and say, damn, you know what? I really don't have a whole bunch of education. So my conversation with this doctor that I want is going to be fucking whack because you don't know shit. Why don't we say that? Because that's what you're asking for when you say, well, I don't want to date the guy that works at the McDonald's. Well, if you got the guy across from you that's a cardiologist, what the fuck are y'all going to talk about? You didn't even care about your education after you graduated high school. You stopped. So my thing is you kind of make your own swimming pool. I think over years we've been saying, alpha male has been saying, women will fish from the wrong pond. I get it, but I just think that we make our pond. I think as we grow up and mature, we are actually collecting the fish that we have to choose from based on our choices, our educational choices, how many children we have. We are creating our own environment. we're creating the people that we have to choose from because of our own choices in life. And I'm saying this freely, finally, because I was able to list the shit about myself that's bad. And so that, again, women started following suit, and I think that was the best part of the exercise. It started off as just a post, but it became an exercise that now there's no one to attack. There's no one to say he was rude, he shouldn't have said that, that's inappropriate to say. Now the only person that you could attack or have a conversation with about your baggage is you. At the end of the day, it's your baggage.
I feel you. An exercise is just an exercise. You the thing that's so.
You know what?
I'm not the.
You can't give the ladies, at least the people that participated, credit.
No, because the reason being, I haven't even looked at that post. That I haven't even looked at the post, but I bet it was some bullshit going on. That a lot of times when women start saying shit, they just take it as a joke. And I'm quite sure you probably had some women on there that was trying to be funny, because they wouldn't say none of that shit in front of the dude that they trying to pursue. Like, I would give credit to someone that's gonna take that same exercise and then put that in front of the guy that they actively wanna pursue. You can do that. I give y'all the credit in the world. But doing this shit on social media, man, the guy isn't gonna see that, or the guy that you wanna be fucking with ain't gonna see that. Like, I don't really see a woman being like, you know what? I'm always late, and I always make excuses about being late. I got 3 baby daddies. I don't get along with this one. I see a therapist. Like, I don't see them sitting in front of the guy that they actively want to be with, and then
be able to admit those things
and saying and then put this shit on the table, because the guy shit would be, you know, what do you bring to the table? Mm-hmm. It's easy for people to say shit that they're good at, like, hey, I'm a nice person, you know, I'm friendly. I'm good. I'm good to watch movies with. I suck good dick. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. But when you have to look at yourself in the mirror, some of the hardest shit to do, look at yourself in the mirror, I really feel like that's not really like what it is a lot of times. Because, like, I've even seen, like, one of my homegirls, she recently had, like, what y'all call that shit? Like a BBL, or I don't know what, you know what I'm saying? When they get like a tummy
lipo,
lipo or something. I don't really know. It was one of those two, and she basically did it for like her man. And this is like a small woman, so she really didn't even really need it. But she was like, you know, I'm doing it. But her motivation behind it was her dude. And then once she got it done, she had a scar that was right there that she was like, I don't like this scar. And then she didn't get the results from her husband. This isn't a boyfriend, this was her husband. So she was kind of like down in the dumps, this and that. But I feel like if she was able to say, like, I have an issue with my weight or my stomach, and was able to present that to her husband, he could have told her, like, I don't think this is going to work. Or this, like, sometimes when people have their own baggage of things in their mind, it's just to themselves. They can't come out and say it.
They can't admit it
to the person that they with. And if she would have said that to her husband, instead of spending all that damn money, you know what I'm saying?
Maybe he could have made her feel better about her body image, and she wouldn't have gone that far.
Helped her work out, prevented some of those things that's going on, because that was something after the fact. And, you know, like, talking to him a little bit, he was like, you know, I could have stopped it, but she seemed so gun-ho on it. So it's two people that's indecisive, that's doing some shit, you know what I'm saying? And no one came with a final, like, hey, we unitly is a unit. We agree that this could go down. So, and you never know, like, sometimes when I be seeing people who constantly getting like Lil' Kim and Vivica Fox, and, you know, I feel like that's a disorder sometimes. They see something in the mirror that other people don't see. You know what I'm saying?
And that's all related to either baggage or trauma that they have. I think for me, the reason...
And what was your baggage that you put on there? Because you say you put baggage on there. So.
Yeah, I put a whole list. Let me pull up the list.
A whole list.
I got a whole list. Well, I have 4.
Her Majesty said she'll do it.
I have 4.
You'll do what?
She'll tell the person to cross.
Of course, Her Majesty would say that.
You know what? I think she would. I think she would, just because of her personality. I think that she can't help, but I think her personality is just very straight up anyways. So I think that, but I also don't know many negative things about her. As close as we are, I can't think of things that she, you know what I'm saying? Besides the fact that she has children, I can't, and that she's a workaholic. So there's two things.
But that's the thing, though. Women, I don't know a woman that's going to consider their children baggage. So they're not going to put that on the list.
They're not going to put that on the list. But one of my friends did, though. She did.
Hold on. I'm not saying it won't happen. I'm just saying some women are not going to look at their kids.
They have to.
Is baggage.
And that's maybe the wrong word. No, you don't. Okay, so let's have this conversation. I wanted to save this for like last. I didn't want to get into using, because on the way here, I'm like, how am I going to talk about this when we're talking about kids qualifying as baggage? Because baggage seems like such a negative word. But let me tell you why I'm going to back up it being baggage, whether it's the wrong word or not. You are asking someone to love you and be a stepdad and love kids and protect kids that they did not make. And
what deal is the man getting out of that?
And what is he getting out of that? Not saying that there aren't men out there that make great stepdads, and her kids happen to be great.
I have a comment right here. I wouldn't tell them. I wouldn't say that they're my baggage. It's just that I have kids.
Okay, so cool. I would say I have kids.
That's my Podbean listeners.
Okay, that's great. And again, I don't want to get attacked because I know baggage is a negative word. But ladies with kids, please understand, no matter how fine you are, there's a woman out there that don't have no kids. And if you have a high value man that's looking at the house at the right, that ain't got no babies in it, and then the house on the left that got 4 or 5 or 3 or 2, it's a pretty clear decision to me that unless you got $1 million or 2 in the bank, and it's a big, huge difference between your situation and this other situation on the right, the house on the right is more attractive, even just from the outside looking in. If you ask a woman who loves kids, I love children, but if I was I had a choice of 2 basketball players, one that don't have no babies and one that has a couple baby mamas, I'm sorry, they're equal except for the fact that one has kids and one don't. If Forrest Gump would say, well, duh, go with the guy that doesn't have children. You could start a new family with him. You don't got to meet the baby kid, the kid's fathers. You don't got to smash your toe over a toy. I'm not saying these things can't be getting over and that these women don't deserve the world. But what I'm saying is everybody don't got kids. I don't. I'm out here. I'm taken. But there are more women out here that are like me that don't have that type of non-baggage, I guess I should say.
And she said she on Podbean that says she don't feel like she being attacked.
Okay, good. I'm so glad because it's hard when you have to address somebody and say, well, you know, your kids might be.
But keep in mind
an issue for a guy.
But I do want to say this.
Your Majesty says the kids have to come first.
And that's what I'm saying.
And
you speak on that.
And that's what I was saying because a lot of times I agree with that because a lot of times I'm gonna speak from a man perspective, and especially like when you're dating women with kids and women without kids. At the end of the day, it's prioritizing. So I would never fault a woman for can't say the word.
Prioritizing.
Yeah.
Prioritizing. Yeah.
Their kids over me. I mean, I wouldn't do that for my kids. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna put my kids first too. So if you, let's just say you have a religious woman that's putting God first. Now the kids is there. You know, you're going to come somewhere like 3rd or 4th. And then now it depends on the man if he can deal with being
4th on the list. It is what it is.
3rd or 4th on the list.
Yeah.
Now, it's other situations that come into play too. Circumstances. Just because sometimes a woman has like 3 kids, 2 kids or whatever the case, it depends on also how they get along and with their baby daddy, father, whatever the case may be, because some are not, all are not deadbeat dads. Like if you take someone like Will Smith that's saying like he can take care of, you know, the baby mama, his wife. Hey, you want your boyfriend to come over and we can be one big bunch. That's a different scenario. And would a man look at that as a bad thing? A man probably wouldn't look at that as a bad thing. Because he's like, damn, you don't have a crazy, you don't have a crazy baby daddy, and he's taking care of the responsibility. So every situation
is different.
Could be, totally different. Now, if you have a baby daddy where I'm always hearing he ain't shit, like he's a deadbeat, I gotta, and those problems now are being dumped off on me because I have to listen to you say these things, and now you unloading, and because I'm your man, you unload that on me.
And she's supposed to be able to. This is the thing. You would be wrong to be like, damn, all you do is... She's supposed to be able to vent to you. But I want the woman for a minute to take a step back and say, they're right. Even though I should be able to vent to my husband, if I didn't have these problems, we could talk about something else, us. So you have to give a man that's sitting across from you and dealing with the father of your children more credit. And it shouldn't be the attitude where that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to step up and be a great stepdad. You're supposed to love my kids the same way you love me. Why don't we become a little softer and let's realize that that's a big feat. That's a big thing to do. It would be a big thing for me to walk into a house with, and be a stepmom. So let's give these guys a little bit more lee room. Or is that the right way? A little bit more leverage when it comes to things like that.
Yeah.
Or leeway.
Luscious JB says kids are a part of the package. They aren't always in the way. Just because a woman doesn't have kids doesn't make her the better choice.
Okay, that's cool. But again, I said Forrest Gump could figure that out. I said if both of the people were equal. I didn't say that's... First of all, that's the first example I wanted to be clear on. If I met two basketball players and they were both equal in everything, one had kids and one didn't, that even Forrest Gump would say, well, Kaynah, you know what? He doesn't have a family already. There ain't no baby mamas over there. So he might be the better choice. That's just common sense. And I know that these women have children. So why don't we say if your son came home with a girl that already got 2 kids, I bet you wouldn't be saying, well, that don't mean she's not the best girl for you. You go ahead and go out with her. You would be telling your sons that might not be the best choice, and they don't have to do that. They're still young. There's still a lot of life to live. You don't have to make that choice yet. Now, when you're 40 plus and you got kids, then yes, your choices have dwindled. But not for young boys
and we have
or young girls.
And we have another comment on the pod being that says, depending on the age of the kids, mine are older, so they're a bit more self-sufficient.
Right.
And that also plays, that does play a factor too. Sometimes when women have older kids, guys don't tend to look at that is, so bad. And, my philosophy a lot of times is like when I meet a woman who have kids and the kids are young, automatically in my head, most women would probably say that, damn, he might be thinking about the kids. But believe it or not, if they 3, 4, 5, I'm thinking like, where is this baby daddy? Like, I need to sit down and talk to him. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that y'all not that far removed. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And you might not know how to co-parent. I don't really know how this whole scenario about is about to play out. So, guys do take in consideration of age. That's why I say it's circumstantial,
It is, because when you think about women with older children, she's absolutely right. They don't have the same issues. But I thought it was interesting, especially for you being an alpha male, that you didn't bring up one of the issues that you bring up all the time. Well, you did kind of, but you didn't hit it as hard as I thought you would when it comes to having a guy who is the head of his household, who likes his meal served first, who doesn't like kids in the living room. They got to be in their own spaces. Alpha males and high value men like structure and organization. And a lot of times when you're coming into a home that's already up and running, it's hard for you to come in here and be like, well, babe, I don't really like kids in the living room. They got their own rooms and TVs in their rooms. That's going to be hard for a mother that has allowed her children to play on the couch and watch children TV in the living room. It's going to be hard for her to go to her kids and say, well, you know what? My new boyfriend doesn't like kids in the living room. So you guys have to go to your room and watch TV. That's real hard.
But see, again, that's circumstances, because the reason I didn't hit that hard is because that scenario would have to be painted for me. So, because let's say, for instance, like some women that are, quote unquote, what they would say is independent. I'm paying my bills. I got my own house, this and that. If the man moves into their house, it's their house. You know what I'm saying? Now, yeah, a man could come in there and start putting in some structure. You know what I'm saying? But it also can cause some friction and fights, and then the woman has to also decide, because kids are very, very smart. Kids do guilt trips. They play parents or like adults against each other. You know what I'm saying? They ask one, their mom something, and then they'll play that card of, we all know what card I'm about to say, you ain't my daddy. That can come into play. So,
in a hurry.
So don't get it twisted. You know, like I understand like why some women would be like, you know, I don't look at my kids as baggage, and that's what I'm saying. But they also are not dealing with the same thing a man would deal with, because, you know, kids to most women, hey, they kids are the apple in their eye. They don't do no wrong. They don't see nothing wrong that they kid can fucking do. You know what I'm saying? Like they kid could be caught dead to rights, and they gonna be like, well, it ain't that bad. You don't got to go that hard on them.
Who were we talking to last year that said they don't even have sex in the house because they don't want the kids to hear? I'm like, so there's a man that goes to work.
I don't know. I don't think
I forgot who it was.
I don't know nobody like that.
I forgot who it was, but they literally do not want their, and both of them were like this. Oh, we don't want the kids to hear us having sex. I don't know whether it's some type of trauma that they went through.
They don't need to be together.
But they don't like the kids to hear them. So I'm like, damn, for a woman that works, she's a teacher, husband that's out in the heat all damn day, come home, all he wants is his toes sucked, and you talking about, well, we got to wait till the kids go to sleep and stuff like that. Like, that puts a man in a different frame of mind, and that's why it's easy, I think, for men to step out on situations like that, in baggage in general, because it's easy to meet a person that doesn't have that habit. Even if we switch from having kids to smoking cigarettes, if it's easy to meet people that don't smoke these days, it's just easy. So if you got a dime piece and she's chain smoking Newports, it ain't gonna take you but 5 minutes to meet the same dime that don't have the cigarette habit. It's easy. It is so easy to find someone better. So that's why I thought baggage was a real important issue. List them so that you know what they are, and that you are not picking people who are okay with those things.
But see, that's also why I said, like, you're gonna have some women, even though you said there was women on the comments that listed,
I'm going to read them.
Listed her kids is baggage, but I was like, but you're going to have a lot more women that's not even going to look at their kids is baggage. And also, like I said, like, when you're talking about baggage, I don't even really know sometimes if people can look in the mirror and recognize and recognize,
I'm loud,
recognize their own, baggage. You know,
mad,
what I'm saying? Like no one,
those that's baggage.
Like no one's gonna sit there and say, like, you know, we're in a bad situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, in the bank, I might get a little loud. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or
I might embarrass you at dinner, yelling at the waiter. You know,
confrontation.
Right.
Dress code. You know what I'm saying? Some women might dress a little scantily clad and think there's nothing wrong with that, and the man could be like, you know,
I wouldn't consider that baggage. I consider that's something that he just doesn't like about her. Baggage is just something that you come along with. You could change the way you dress. You could put on a blazer. You know what I'm saying?
But what I'm saying is, if someone recognized that is a problem, the reason I put that as a baggage, because I talked to a woman one time, and for the most part, is like she was always being confronted with the way that she dressed. You get what I'm saying? And that could be looked at as baggage because she doesn't want to change that part. It's who I am. If you met me this way, this is how I am. You know what I'm saying? So it could be looked at as baggage as well, because you're not even negotiable to flex on your dress code. You know what I'm saying?
And so in that situation, your baggage is you're just stubborn and you're not submissive.
Exactly.
So that would be on the list. Hey, you know, that would be one of the things you want to talk to somebody, especially a high value guy that you say that you want. Because I don't think there's anybody that's listening that's saying, you know what, a guy that works at McDonald's that didn't graduate from college is fine. I know we're not saying that. I know that everybody listening wants a high value guy. You understand what I'm saying? Everybody wants a high-value guy. So you have to understand that most high-value guys, might have a problem with that. So it might behoove you when you're sitting across from this doctor to say, you know what? I have a problem with men telling me what to do. I'm not very submissive. That is something that you need to say up front. You have to expose that about yourself.
But that
is a big deal.
But see, that's what I'm saying. I don't think
that's a big deal.
I don't think that people can look in the mirror
and say that
and admit to that because they don't see it as a problem. See, when you have baggage and then admit to it, sit there saying like I'm not submissive, I could probably line like 50 women up, and half of them might not know that they're feminists. They might really feel that, you know, I have the right to have my own opinion.
Right.
Like when I talk to women, a lot of times, and you hear that word, that's why I use them air quotes when I say independent. I'm talking to this lady about the show, and she was like, well, I'm an independent woman. Like, I take care of myself. I make my own money. I bought my own car. I have my own house. And I'm looking at her, and I'm like, welcome to adulthood. You supposed to be doing that shit. Like, that doesn't make you independent because you're doing that shit. You're an adult. You're supposed to be doing that. If a man is doing that, he's an adult. He's supposed to be doing that. Like, we've gotten so sensitive with, like, titles and where we place people. Baggage is one of those things that I feel like most people can't really list them like that because they don't even recognize.
No, I just think they haven't done the work. That's the answer. They just haven't done the work yet, and maybe it hasn't come to their frontal lobe that's keeping them right. That's keeping them from their dream guy. Your baggage is keeping you from your dream guy because the baggage you have is so heavy, and it has you so engulfed that you are actually attracting people that will deal with your baggage. You're dealing with the brother that don't care that you smoke. You dealing with the brother that don't care that you loud and aggressive for no reason. You picking a guy that's okay with that. Maybe someone that's a little softer than you, that's, light spoken or whatever. You're picking the guy that's gonna deal with your bullshit baggage. Point blank, period.
Well, they're settling.
And not settling. They're picking the people who aren't going to say, you know what, I don't really like cigarettes. So you're going to pick the guy who either don't mind or chain smokes with your ass.
Yeah, but
period.
But that's what I'm saying. But when you lowering your standards to that, like, because at the end of the day, for you to be successful, I would say that, your goal would be to be in a relationship and to get married. Now, I could fuck someone with four kids and never take them serious and not marry them and string them along in the whole nine. You know what I'm saying? And that would be the fight that we always have. But they don't recognize, like, I'm looking at that saying, four kids is a problem, your drinking is a problem. I can come over and smash you from time to time and we can play this role of boyfriend, girlfriend.
Right.
But I'm not really serious about you.
So
and she doesn't realize why. She's like, I'm good.
And that's why it's important for you to know what your weakness is. So when they leave, it's not a question of why. When they leave, you should be able to answer yourself why they left. Unless, of course, he did something really fucked up. But if you're left there like, wait, I was perfect, nothing was, it's time for you to look in the mirror and really evaluate, well, damn, maybe the kids was too loud. And maybe he just couldn't tell me that the kids were bothering him. It's gotta be something. So yeah, it's important for you to list your cons. So when shit start falling apart, you can say, well, is it any of these things? I know for me that my cons would have kept me from my king.
Yeah, we got Weezy, the third one. If a woman truly understands her role, then she should naturally be submissive to a good guy, especially if they're dating.
That's correct. Naturally. But some of us are stuck in our ways.
And that's someone that recognizes and has more than likely been taught the role of the woman. Yeah. And that's why I said, like, a lot of times they don't understand that because it's like, how could someone consider this baggage? How could you consider the kids a baggage? I just drink a little bit. That's not baggage. Like,
well, let me give you my list so I can give you an example of what I'm talking about. My first thing on my list was my past is not squeaky clean. So whenever I'm in a relationship, I have to expose legal woes, even though they're from back in the day. You don't want, most likely, this is how I think. Most likely, if you like me, or if I'm sitting across from you for 45 minutes, after you leave, you're going to Google me. Especially with what I do for work. I'm telling you, I interview celebrities and I do this and I do that. You, even if you're not trying to be sneaky, you're going to Google me. You're just going to do it. So I'm going to have a conversation about any legal trouble that I've gotten into in my past, even if it was minor or major. Number 2, I have an abusive ex. He's nowhere around, but the trauma he created is. You can't get out of a relationship where you used to get your ass beat and then pretend you didn't get your ass beat. You know why? Because every time your man comes towards you too fast, you jump. Every time he moved too quick, you are going to react to things because you came out of an abusive relationship. Now imagine your man getting close to you and you jumping every time for 5 years straight. And you never told the man you got punched in the eye by your ex-boyfriend. He gonna think your motherfucking ass is crazy or you got Tourette's. You gotta tell people these things.
Yeah, you jumping for?
Yeah. That's number 2 on my list is the abusive ex. Number 3 on my list is I have a big unfriendly dog who sheds a ton of hair. This could be a real turn off for a person that doesn't have a dog. And these are going from major things to minor things. But some of these minor things are major to people who are not animal lovers. So you have to be specific when you have things that are baggage. My dog is fucking baggage. He bites. How can I love my dog. And baggage is a very negative word. But the dog that I love, my only child, is baggage. Because I have to ask the person who's coming to my home, are you scared of dogs? Are you allergic to dogs? I have to put my dog up when the guy comes over. I mean, come on. That's baggage. He's going to say, well, you know what? I don't want a key right now to the house because, you know, me and your dog don't. One day he like me, the other day he don't. That is considered baggage. Number 4, I'm a recovering addict of shoplifting. Funny, not funny, but definitely not cute. That shit gave me a rush. That's something that I had an issue with. You know why you should tell? Because you could go 3 years straight and then one day be in the gas station and decide to pocket a fucking pack of gum. Your boyfriend sees you and flips out because he didn't know that you used to deal with that. It'll be easier to deal with knowing the person's background that you're standing next to.
Got a question on Podbean. They're asking, are you divulging all of this on the first date?
That is a very, very good question. I think some of the minor ones. I don't think I would tell somebody that, you know what, I used to be a shoplifter. You know, I had this real thing with it. I would find the right time. There was a show that we were watching called Trinkets on Netflix, and these little girls were shoplifting the entire show. That's a good example of, you know what, I know we watching this show and it seems like crazy and you saying all kind of things like, this girl crazy, she gonna take her ass to jail. I used to be that girl. It's a good time. It's a good time to tell the truth. So no, I wouldn't say it all on the first date, but in the first 60 days before I take it serious with this person, I think I would need them to know the things on this list. My last one is I smoke lots of weed. This could be a potential turnoff to someone who doesn't. Keep in mind now, I am not putting on my forehead that I need a weed smoker. I don't care if you didn't graduate from high school. I'm out here putting myself out like I want a high value guy. I want a guy with a job that's smart, that's well smoking. So why wouldn't I tell this smart, high value guy that I'm having dinner with that I smoke? Why? So are you planning on hiding it the whole time you're dating or just letting them come over and smell it? Let the person know that, first of all, you are the one putting out these vibes that you want this good guy, but you want to hide all the baggage from him. It don't work that way. You have to expose those things and give that person the opportunity to say, you know what, we might not be compatible. That's going to save your ass from giving your coochie away for nothing, because you're going to give it away. You're going to end up breaking anyway. And now you got somebody else on your list that you weren't compatible with based on the baggage, good or bad. All my baggage isn't bad. I'm not going to go give away my fucking dog. I'm just not going to date anybody that's allergic to one. Hello?
Her Majesty says, so how about the men start being men and talk and tell you?
That's a question?
Yeah, how about the men start telling their baggage? I think men don't have a choice.
You know what? But I'm going to tell you this. Like, to me, I'm just going to say this. Men do tell their baggage. The problem really is women don't be trying to hear that shit. Because you know why? Because women always think they can change a motherfucker. Like, we got to get past this whole shit about, like, what about the men? What about the men? The men have been labeled as ain't shit, can't fuck, they broke, using people, this and that. But every time I turn around, I look at the men, tell them exactly what it is, and that shit go in one ear
and out the other.
And right out the other. A man could do a full-fledged list and show you that shit, and she's going to look at that.
It can say, I ain't shit. And
you
going to come up with a reason to still get that dick.
And she going to look at that list, shrug her shoulder, look down, look at the size of the feet, look at that bulge, and be like, you know what? If he can fuck me right, I can deal with the first five.
I can fix everything else. Maybe he'll change.
So I would definitely say, like, men, you can tell them what's wrong. Like, half of the time, men, I don't even really feel have an issue saying, like, what's wrong with them. It's just that the women just don't want to hear the shit.
They don't, or they don't hear it. I'm going to go step out on a limb and say this. Every freaking boyfriend I've ever had has told me what it was straight the fuck up. Oh, yeah, you know, I serve, I got a pack. You don't got a problem with that, right? It's late night, I be running the streets. From my high school boyfriend did not hide from me that he was selling dope. The next boyfriend I had didn't hide that he will whoop your ass. Because he told me, why didn't I run when he said, oh, yeah, you know, she said some shit shit, I slapped the fire out of her in a regular conversation. Oh, you slapped fire out her? That didn't ring a bell to me to get the fuck on?
But see, that's what I'm saying, because a lot of times, like, even without the men even saying some shit, like the red flags that men do, like, I could ask that woman the same shit. You got slapped. Why you didn't leave? And she ain't even gonna give me an accurate answer. She gonna give me with a I don't know. She gonna hit me with, well, you just don't leave people. Like, that was just a, you know what I'm saying? Just because you see one
Hit you with
bad
that
thing.
Tina Turner.
Yeah,
Everybody in his life that film. I couldn't do it.
Like, everything, when men have things on their list, sometimes they don't have to listen. It just comes out. It just comes out anyway.
Who calling you this time? Like, oh, my crazy ass baby mama. Oh, damn.
Yeah.
He got a crazy baby mama. Didn't know that on the first date.
Her Majesty said she had so many and kept secrets.
Well, she does.
You can't get away from what people do as far as, like, keep secrets. I would evaluate, like, the men that you're dating. If you keep running into men that are hiding secrets from you, or you have something that's just going on, evaluate how you meeting the men. What kind of men are you attracting? Have you tried a different type of man? You know what I'm saying? Like, I was just talking to one of my homegirls, and she just met a guy that's totally different, opposite of what she normally dated, and she was like, "This dude is crazy about me. I met his family. He's preparing to be a doctor. Like, had a full upside, and I know her from fucking with men that are bad boys." So, and the crazy shit about her, she was like, it's kind of scary for me. And I met a man that the first time we together, I can't even get him to have sex with me. That shit, the good shit, was bad to her, because she used to men trying to smash her the first time, and she like,
he wouldn't even give it up.
She was like, we in the bed and ain't nothing happening. I thought something was wrong with him. You understand what I'm saying? So a lot of times, even with men, those things are there. It's just that they're being ignored, and women have their own thing. So
they have their own agenda. They have their own agenda. They want some dick. So it's a great segue into body count, isn't it? We're talking about body count on the second half of relations. Now, I've had this conversation with 51 Spade more times than I've liked about body count. So I know we're going to have opposition on this one.
Okay. 2 hands.
Yeah. That's one of the most classic shows, I think, that we've had. Okay. We actually probably, when you edit this, we need to reference that episode.
I mean, the reason this came up is because I saw a comment where it was like, why do women actually hide their body count? And there were women actually on there that was saying that they don't divulge they body count because, like, even if I'm being looked at as if once I get looked at as a hoe, she was like, the conversation would be done. So I'm in the wrong, like, no matter what. So they was like, I just rather not divulge the body count and they continue on. Now, granted, like, when you in a relationship, you start talking about, you have pillow talk. So you start talking about things that you've done in your past. Mm-hmm. Some guys can kind of pinpoint little shit on where about your body count is. Mm-hmm. But that don't mean that the woman has divulged the exact number. You know what I'm saying? And times that I've asked women what their body count is, it always seems to fluctuate. Because it starts off as one number, and it's always like...
Because there are people that you honestly don't remember. It's not a lie.
You're going to have your time to talk. Now, once the body count number starts, it starts off as a certain number, then it starts to fluctuate. And then it becomes, oh, yeah, that time that, because I find out some shit like, you was in a sex club, but you was in a sex club with who? Oh, I was in a sex club with Tyrone. I don't see a Tyrone on that list. Oh, I forgot about him.
Yeah.
That don't make it right.
But wait, how do you... Wait, it's not... If you don't remember, you just don't remember. You have that drunken night that you went home from the club. You probably don't... And for me, because I'm so transparent, honestly, there are people that if I'm doing my body count and I'm doing my list... And I'm like, you have got to be fucking kidding me. I forgot
It's this high?
I forgot all about him. And it's hard to even write it down because it was so insignificant. And it's like, I got to add this motherfucker to my list.
But why is it so insignificant?
Because it's like,
Because you shouldn't have did
it. It just is.
Because you sitting and did it and you got it. You know what I'm saying? That's why you trying to block that shit out. Is because you like, you know what? A motherfucker got me for the panties. It wasn't supposed to have it. And now he on the list and now I got to divulge this shit to my man. And that's the other thing too, is like when you are talking about body counts, women, if you want to have that conversation with your man and you feel that y'all finna go to that next level, because everybody don't deserve the body count number. I'm quite sure you know women be in situations where that's not even, but I'm just saying on a serious tip, the reason a lot of times why those counts are revealed is because men don't like to be in the same vicinity or room with someone who done fuck you, that if I know, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? But I don't need to get in the room with someone that you had sex with. And women don't realize this, that men go out of their way a lot of times to let them know, let you know that they fucked your girl. We could not even be having we could be talking about the NBA. And some kind of way, he's going to find a way to tell me that he had sex with my girl. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, you saw LeBron go for that? He was like, yeah, man, me and Cola used to like watch the NBA back in the day, man. She used to wear these shorts, had Laker Nation on. I'm like, what the fuck? And now I gotta go over to you and be like, okay, Devin definitely wasn't on this list, so I'm trying to figure out why is this nigga talking about Laker shorts that you wore? You know what I'm saying? Because he ain't on your list, and now I gotta hear you after the fact, and now you telling me about an extra body.
Exactly, I get it. Listen, I haven't had very many conversations about my past relationships. It was my future husband that asked me about my body count. I don't think any other guy has asked that. So I think it's a...
Why?
Why?
Every man can't handle that. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to tell you one thing about women, too. If you ask women, besides body count, if you just ask them about an experience, y'all have no mercy, like no pullback whatsoever. You know, y'all be describing shit like it's in a book or some shit like that. Like he had the biggest dick and I was squirming, I was holding on to it. Like you're telling your man that story of I couldn't even take that shit. But you also have to remember at the same point in time, it's like if the man is listening to that shit, it's like you kind of evaluating your man at the same time that you evaluating the guy that you're talking about. Because if you saying his dick was ginormous, he's looking at himself like, you know, because y'all say some shit like, thank God I'm with you. Like, well, what the fuck does that mean? Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm significantly smaller, so that works for you. Like, you're doing a telltale sign on both sides. So I've been in situations where that shit doesn't bother me, but I've heard women say, well, the reason I don't have those conversations with men I've been with is because
they don't think they can take it.
Yeah, they'll say like they get mad. It'll be a good night, and then it'll end in a fight because they brought up someone in their past. And
it's one of those things for me that I find kind of unnecessary. I'm going to play devil's advocate here. I mean, I think you should be able to talk about everything. But some stuff is just unnecessary. It's like, especially the guy that snuck over while you skipped school and you fucked him in the backseat of the car one time, never saw him again. Those are things that are very hard for a person who is conservative like myself to say. I don't even have one night stands. So for me, I've been in a relationship for 7-8 years. This person thinks I'm mad conservative, never had a one night stand, but yet there's a guy that I left off my list named Tyrone that I slept with in the backseat of the Chevy. Like, you know, you would have to say, okay, I just want to tell you a story from when I was 16, 17 years old or not. Why do I want to expose a decision that I made at 16, 17? It has nothing to do with my mind in my 40s. Nothing.
I don't really. We usually say women who hide things about their past seems to be so suspect.
Yeah, and that's what I was about to say. Like the reason it's not really about how you was or how your mind frame was. It's like I had a homeboy that was like with his baby mama. He never had a threesome. Like they never did all those type of things. And then come current with with her new boyfriend, she was going to sex clubs and this and that. And even though they wasn't together, he was like, I feel gypped. That you know what I'm saying? She ain't do none of that shit with me.
She wasn't
involved. But she evolved past him because he wanted her evolved at the younger stage. So that's why I'm saying. So that's why I'm saying like sometimes the thing don't matter. But you also want to know like what is your woman really capable of? You understand what I'm saying?
But you can't say what she's capable of when she was 16 is 16 is the same as what she's capable of in her 30s and 40s.
But he want to know if you capable of, like, I just say this, and I'm not saying it's right. What I'm saying is some people a lot of times, like, keep in mind, we human beings, so we compete. You see what I'm saying? So especially when you're talking about a man. Men are competitive. Yeah. So at the end of the day, it's like, if you had a threesome with him, you need to have a threesome with me. You fuck that motherfucker in the car, you need to fuck me in the car. You know what I'm saying? Damn your knees. You know what I'm saying? You did it back then, you need to do it with me. And I'm not saying
petty.
Motherfuckers
so petty.
So we gonna act like
you fuck that nigga in the car. You ain't never gave me no head in the car. You never gave me no pussy in the car. Really?
So we gonna act like motherfuckers ain't petty. And we gonna act like motherfuckers ain't petty because like I had women that them basically then got on me behind that shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? That same scenario, like, well, I ain't never sucked your dick while you was driving just because I'm telling a story about my ex giving me head and me enjoying it while I was driving.
Well,
well, but you just said that's petty. So see what I'm saying? So it's not petty. It's petty when the man say some shit.
It's petty on the woman's side, but you know what? It's a good petty. If we riding down the highway and you're like, I remember this one girl named Lisa, you know what I'm saying? The best head I ever got was going down I-4. You know, I'm sitting next to my man. He told me that. I'm about to take that shit out. I'm finna make you forget all about Lisa right now.
But how you know your head is with Lisa head was like, you might suck that dick, but that don't mean you got that fellatio volcano top like Lisa. That's what I'm saying. And now we both wasting our time and you about to kill us on the highway. That's all I'm saying. Like, saying you trying to be competitive and petty, you about to fucking make us crash. You know what I'm saying? Is it worth it? So that's what I'm saying. Like, people can be petty. So I'm not saying it's right, but a lot of times when you talking about men and women, I think we're both competitive to that point. So when you start having those pillow talks and things of those nature, it can get a little murky. So
trying to remember. You have a question though.
But what do you think about women who actually hide their body count? Do you feel like the body count should be divulged, or do you feel like, hey, if she want to take it to a grave, take it to a grave?
I'm gonna start by saying this. I have some friends that don't even care about body count. They think they coochie snap back like a fold down lunchbox.
Lies.
Fold that bitch down, that bitch pop right back up.
Lies.
They really believe they pussy is like that.
Lies.
So I would say, number one, we should definitely be paying attention to body count no matter how young we start because it will come back. But number two, a person who is hiding that, I would say this. They are not in the relationship with the person that they're supposed to be in a relationship with. I have learned so much with truly being, not to be sappy, but truly, one, being happy with yourself and okay with you, and two, being in a relationship that doesn't give you that fear. Mm-hmm. That is the only way you can live in your truth and tell the truth. If there is absolutely no fear that you're going to be shunned or ridiculed or he's going to break up with you. I have this little thing. When I break something in the house or I do something, I have a little line. Babe, don't get mad at me. And now, at first, I used to hear silence. Like, you know what? Whatever the fuck this bitch just did, we getting ready to fight. Now, it's a routine. Babe, don't get mad at me. He automatically says, what? His what lets me calm down. Because I'm scared as hell. I got to tell him I broke something happened. But when he answers me back in that what, is almost comforting because he knows I'm clumsy. And that familiar what makes me calm. And now I can tell you, look, I broke the pipe. You understand what I'm saying? It's the familiar. It's knowing that no matter what you say, it's not the end of the world. Just tell me. And I have that, babe, don't get mad at me whether I made a mistake and maybe not made a mistake. Maybe I reached out to somebody I shouldn't have reached out to, or I went somewhere I wasn't supposed to go, or I just broke something. It's the same energy no matter whether the infraction is major or whether it's minor. Babe, don't get mad. It's the same routine. And so I think we have to have that type of kinship and that type of camaraderie with our spouses to be in a space to tell the truth. You cannot be scared. Fear will keep a man from telling you that, hey, I fucked up. I had on a condom. The condom broke. And I don't know what this bitch got. So I can't have sex with you. It's more men that's going to go home, jump in the shower. And if his wife wake up when he get in that bed and she wants some dick, he will most likely fuck her. So she'll go back to sleep. And it's sad. It's really, really sad. Because it's so fucking sad that men would rather endanger their person they say that they love rather than hurt their feelings with the truth.
I don't think so.
Period. I definitely disagree.
I
disagree.
Even like with I think it was Why Did I Get Married? What men do a lot of times is they start ducking their wife. Like, I got a headache. Like, I was watching that shit play out because he had something.
That's the same.
And he
it's
was,
the same.
It's
the same. The same.
I get it. I get it.
I get it. Sleep with her and lying to her is the same.
I'm not saying it was different, but what I'm saying is he didn't turn over. He was avoiding her. So what I'm saying is like if a man. If he openly know. Now, if you're talking about he come home, the condom bust, and then he just don't know if he have anything. But I'm saying...
You don't know. You aren't going to know if the condom bust. You're not going to know for a couple of weeks whether you have something or not. And most likely, if you went home from the girl's bed, you haven't even gotten tested yet. What I'm saying is, even if you avoid her, then now you're not messing with her physically. Now you're fucking with her mentally. What is it about me? Why is it the love of my life having sex with me? Did I do something wrong? Is my breath stink? You still got her stressing. And by the way, I talk about it all the time. Those minor things that you think are minor, avoiding her, hurting her feelings, or making her feel less worth, that's doing damage to her biologically. That her in her room crying because you ain't fucked up all week is biologically fucking up her liver, her heart, her fucking kidneys. All that shit is affected by you being sad and stressed out. So you are still doing the same kind of fucking damage. Either you fuck me without the condom and you taking a chance, or treating me badly is still taking a chance that I'm gonna die of a fucking broken heart. It's possible.
Fellas, we need to start putting these pressure on these women. So when y'all want threesomes and shit like that, we need to start putting on that extra pressure the same way and be like, you know, because I ain't getting this extra attention and extra love, I'm starting to feel like something inside of me is broken. Like I feel.
But you don't even feel that way. You don't even know that your arteries are clogged up because of stress. You don't even know that your kidneys are weak.
Yes, I do.
You don't know because you think it's something wrong with you, but you don't know it's because your heart is broken.
I know something wrong with me is because I ain't got that extra piece of pussy in the house. Like
I'm asking the church to pray for I'm 51 Spade.
Because
saying there's something wrong with you.
No, ain't nothing wrong with me. Because like you just put a whole scenario on about she ain't getting fucked, so she in the room.
Yeah, you're avoiding her, thinking, I didn't fuck her, so she's gonna be all right. So crazy? You're still hurting her.
When a man wants some shit or wants some shit for him, it's like, you fucking bugging. Like I don't know what's wrong with him and this and that. Men's sex needs start becoming like dwindled down, and it ain't even that important. But when it comes to a woman, oh man, I'm not releasing some of the shit I supposed to be released, and I testify to the third power on the third book of Jesus. I need some dick. I need DICK.
We do though.
You know what I'm saying?
We do.
Like,
there's crazy. Listen, your body releases endorphins when you hug someone. When you hug your woman, you have no idea what good is happening to her biologically.
Gotcha. Her Majesty said that's true. You can die from a broken heart.
You can.
Got you. You can die from a broken heart, but you can't die from the lack of dick.
But if you're having a lack of dick, you're wondering why, and you're feeling unloved, and you could die from all the things you're feeling due to not getting the dick.
So that don't apply to men?
I'm sure it does.
See how the
everything
see how the
always
passion
justified for a woman.
I'm saying, like it's always like the man shit get downplayed when he starts saying some shit. She didn't even have the same type of passion when I said, "Does that sound?" Well, I'm sure
it does though.
See, she even lighter now. You know what I'm saying? But when she was talking, she was sounding like Malcolm X. You know what I'm saying? Like she need the black dick on a stick. You know what I'm saying? She had like extra tones in the whole line. I was the same for the man. Hey, you know, it could be. I don't know. Like, you know, I think y'all probably could die from a broken heart. Stop it with the fucking shenanigans, dog. Like,
it's not shenanigans. And we really need to probably do our research and come have an educated discussion about what pain, emotional pain, what kind of damage it does biologically. I'd like to invite a nurse or a doctor on the show to show you guys that you are really hurting our actual organs by being a dick.
So bottom
and not
line,
giving us dick.
So bottom line, to move on. So bottom line, body count should be divulged.
It should. We should be able to divulge our body counts. First of all, know your partner, and there's a time for everything and a place for everything. And you have to create an honest space, and that falls on both people. You can't ask a person, be honest, and every time they're honest, you blow up on them, because that's going to cause a person not to be honest.
I got you. I've heard a scenario.
You know, hey, I was outside the house last night. I was in a situation, and this is where I had to go. I know you don't like the situation. This is where I slept overnight, but this is what I did. You have to give the person the, first of all, kudos to you. I'm pissed off at you, but thanks for telling me. Now give me some motherfucking space, because you done pissed me off by doing that. But you cannot punish them for telling the truth, because if you punish a person for telling you the truth, they're going to start lying.
So reveal those body counts. Start tonight. Tally him up.
And then if something goes wrong, tap in. It's the tap in portion of our show where it is your opportunity to ask us questions and get our opinions or an answer. Do you have a tap in today?
I definitely have a tap in. I don't have my phone right now, so I have to dig into my memory. But the scenario basically went like this. This woman had her idea of her course on life, where she didn't want to be dealing with guys that had children, and she also wanted to not have kids herself, and she both bit the bullet on both scenarios. She met a guy who actually had a baby mama. She said that she wasn't going to date him. She ended up dating him, and then she ended up getting pregnant. Even though she said that she didn't want to have kids, she ended up getting pregnant from her, and her scenario now is that he doesn't want to get married, and he said that you knew these things about me before we even got into this. So she's upset that she thought that once she got into the relationship with him, and now that they have a kid, that she's feeling a little bummed about him not wanting to move forward. And that's where her dilemma is. She was like, what do I do now?
This is where I'm going to say that you should probably evaluate the baggage that you just created, because you went against your own fucking standards, and you should never do that. I don't think there's ever a great outcome, but there's somebody out there that said, hey, I didn't want kids, and I don't want to date anybody that has kids, and they met the love of their life and became a great mom. So there are those things, but overall, set your standards and stick with them, because if you go outside, if you color outside of those lines and it doesn't turn out great and comfortable for you, you're gonna have some, I don't like to use regret for parents, but you're gonna have some resentment. And it looks like that's what's happening. The relationship doesn't really have a chance because you resent the choices that you made. So the relationship is going to be doomed, because who wants to be resented? The guy doesn't want to be resented. Bitch, you made this choice. You know what I'm saying? And you resent him for the choices that you make. Even saying that out loud should sound really stupid. You resent him for the choices you made. You can often make it make sense to resent someone when they forced you into something or navigated you in a certain direction. You plain out told this person, I don't date men that have baby mamas. So the next line should have been,
peace.
See you later. Then you said, I don't want to have kids, and got pregnant. There's adoption and there's abortion. You decided to have the baby. These are choices that you made, and you got to deal with your choices.
You know, I watch this day in and day out play out with women settling. And that you hit that right on the head. Like, she basically settled for what reason, I really don't know. Like, if you said that you didn't want to date someone who had a baby mama, then why'd you do it? Like, sitting down in a counselor session or therapist, that's the very first question I would ask. The other thing is, not only did you not do that, I can go with the obvious. You having unprotected sex, because I always say women don't like condoms. You're having unprotected sex with the high risk of you getting pregnant. So now you let two things go and settled it down. So to me, it's not the man's responsibility because you couldn't stick to your guns. It's nothing wrong with him making that decision because he didn't promise that to you. Like, if y'all would have got, if it would have started off where you were saying, well, he said that he would marry me and now we have a kid, that would be something different. But you already had your standards set and you went against your own standards. Yeah. And by you doing that, you're more at fault than that. And then and sometimes in these cases, I'm not saying that she said that, that's how you get these scenarios where they're like, men ain't shit because she's mad because he won't commit, or she wanted to move in and he's like he won't move in. Those are some of the scenarios that can play out that could definitely be a bad scenario that could go on. So that's your fault. I don't feel sorry for her. The chips lie where they lie. What can you do? You can't force a man to marry you. You can only now play this out. Y'all still in a relationship, so now it's, you know what I'm saying? Let the chips fall where they fall.
Let them fall where they fall, and you make sure you catch us every single week by keeping up with our YouTube, and follow me on Facebook, IG, and Twitter at Kaynah Lassiter.
Hey, you can reach your boy on both platforms. This is one Spade on Twitter and IG. Make sure y'all follow the Relations page on IG. That's DA_Relations_podcast. I want to thank everybody for joining me on Podbean. Thanks for everybody for joining me on the live. And if you're looking for the shirts, it's Alpha Male God Creation on IG. www.alphamalegodcreations.com. And like I always say about this time,